Hey, my name is Roman, aka YoungBizWhiz. Fun fact, did you know I'm actually part Irish? I know I'm half Asian and half white, but yeah, I'm actually part Irish. It comes from my grandma's side. She's actually a natural ginger, unlike me right now, who's just semi-Asian ginger. But I think it's kind of funny to talk about Ireland for some of these topics because did you know Ireland exported 400% more than on average to America during the Trump tariff era? Yes, they imported over 400% more in March. And I think that's kind of funny. I mean, if we think about it just a little bit, 400% is 400 times more, 4 times more than what you're normally expecting. I mean, if you work a 10-hour week, that's working 40 hours. If you work 160 hours, that's 4 times more than a 40-hour week. And it's literally not possible. But everyone was racing to do trading with America before the tariffs were really in effect. And sales to America was from $5 billion in March of 2024 to over $25 billion this last March. And with everything happening, you know, it's been an overall $37 billion from Ireland being exported, which is almost double the $19 billion in March of 2024. But the reason we're talking about Ireland and America is because Ireland actually is one of the few countries that rely on America heavily. Actually, a lot of countries rely on America in general, but there's a very few that compare, like Canada, Mexico, and Ireland, and maybe China. I mean, China has a $300 billion surplus with America. I mean, it wouldn't probably be good for their economy if they just lost America's trading powers outright, right? But with over a 25 billion sales in 1 month to America, seems that I'm getting another call from my school. But anyways, what do you guys think about the whole thing? But yeah, even though the trade tariffs did get halted and there was a 90-day pause period from Trump, I think it's interesting to see how fast companies were to decide, hey, if we're going to get screwed over by the tariffs that are going to be really high, we might as well just get as much product as we can out the door so we can save some money in the short term and hopefully live off of the profits long term while we figure out our next plans. And I mean, $25 billion, even though that's not a lot compared to some other countries like GDP and imports and exports, like if Ireland was exporting $25 billion a month in general, that would be over, what is that, 400 billion, 300 billion a year, which is already way more than what they import to the world. You know, my bad, export to the world, because in general it would be about 20 billion a year, which is just shy of $250 billion. So just importing to America alone, the amount they've imported in March would already significantly increase their total exports out of the country. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that were coming out of Ireland was pharmaceuticals, which I mean makes sense. It's not like they can just start ramping up on like gold, wheat, bread, and potatoes, right? But yeah, what do you guys think about the whole thing? Do you think other countries had to try to match what Ireland was doing? Do you think that, hey, Trump is really trying to do a good thing with the tariffs and that countries overreacted? Or do you think that Ireland was just one of few countries to decide to, hey, ramp up their exports to America before the tariffs? I mean, we're basically doing a 70 cent per dollar to America when it comes to exports from Ireland to America. And I mean, hey, with everything that's been going on, it seems that Ireland is maybe doing a bit better with the whole tariff thing. I mean, maybe they worked out some deal. I'm not really sure entirely, but there'll be more on that in the future. Anyways, what do you guys think about the whole situation? Once again, my name is Roman, aka YoungBizWhiz, and as an Irish person, you know, I hear good things and I want to promote them. Have an awesome day. Take care. Peace.
The increased cost of that will be between 70 and 80 million euro for further extension. In relation to an effect on our tax revenue, the government published forecasts in relation to this a week ago, and it did indicate that it is possible that there will be a decline in tax revenue, but that will take place over the medium term, over a number of years. The exact magnitude of that change in tax revenue, we hope we'll be in a position to better model once the scale and duration of tariffs become clear. And at the moment, Adam, we're not clear on that. That will become clearer at least beginning tomorrow. But I should emphasise we are confronting all of this with our public finances in surplus, which will be of significant help in dealing with the costs that may be coming our way due to a decline in tax revenue.
Minister, the government has spent the last couple of years, the previous government spent the last couple of years indexing tax bands. We're now seeing the threat from tariffs. And is there any concern that the government may have to, roll back on some of those tax cuts that we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years?
So when the government were bringing in those changes in recent years, we were bringing them in with the expectation that they would be sustainable. And that is why during that period, what we did is we moved our income tax policy in line with income growth. And that meant that the tax changes that were made available on each budget, we believe to be affordable. I still believe they are affordable. What we will have to do as we move through the year is further assess what changes in taxation are going to be appropriate in the context of Budget 2026. Minister Chambers and I will do that together, and neither of us will want to make any decisions in relation to either spending or taxation that might mean that the difficulties that we face in the years ahead could be more complex or could go on for longer. Our priorities will be to continue to invest in capital spending, and the government today agreed a way in which Minister Chambers would lead that process, and also to protect the taxes that we have coming into Ireland through personal tax, through other tax heads, if we see changes in corporate tax revenue beginning to happen in the years ahead.
Are you able to rule out increases to income tax over the next couple of years?
Well, we'll have to make a decision in relation to all of that when we get closer to the budget. From where I sit with the information that is currently available to me, it will be more about maybe making changes, about bringing in changes either at a later point or over time. On the basis of information that's available to me now, that would appear to be something that we would consider. But I'd have to stress, we need to understand what the tariffs will be, to what degree they will be permanent, and what the EU response will be. And we will only begin to become clearer on that tomorrow, and then we'll deal with decisions in relation to Budget 2026 later in the year. Should emphasise, again though, we are approaching all of this with a significant budget surplus, which will be of great help then in decisions that we'll have to make later in the year.
Following on from the previous question, by making these announcements of effectively property and VAT tax breaks 24 hours before the tariffs, are you pretty much narrowing the tax base at a time when you should either broaden it or give the clear message that it needs to be sustained and maybe broadened in the future? What's the message here in such a short period of time?
Well, local property tax yield, in other words, the amount of money we're collecting from the local property tax is going up. So it's going to go up on homes that are paying it by 5 to 6% for homes of a value up to €525,000 and more for homes that have a value of less than €1 million. So the amount of local property tax we'll be asking them to pay will be going up. So I see this as being a way in which we can ensure that local property tax continues to pay more in the years ahead and contribute more to our tax collection, but doing so in a way that aims to be affordable for those who are paying us. And I'm making this argument conscious of the fact that prices are still high for very many, and the cost of living still matters to households that will be asked to pay this bill later on in the year. And then in relation to VAT, we will make decisions in relation to the future of VAT on budget day, but we are seeing the price of electricity and the price of gas go up versus where we expected it to be, and this decision on VAT has been taken in the context of that.